Millennium Scholarship influence your college choices, and what has it meant being a gay scholar on your perspective?
So I've had the blessing, my sister and I both have had the blessing of going through school without a financial burden. And so the scholarship is intense though. We had to do many essays, and we had to make sure we were well-rounded as students. Not only were we headstrong academically, having a standard or a good strong GPA, but we also did community service. We cheered. We were very active in our church. So all those sorts of things helped us achieve this scholarship. And my entire thing was that I knew I worked my butt off in high school, literally all through grade school, and I did not deserve to go to college having my parents with the burden of debt. So I remember in high school, my senior year, I was cheering, playing the violin, all these great things, but my mom made sure before I went out on Friday night, I submitted at least one scholarship. So I was doing that my senior year of college, and although Gates was the biggest scholarship and the one that is most deserving and is very beneficial right now, I applied to others and I did get awarded other scholarships. So I'm very big on scholarship. The money is there, why not take advantage of it? So undergrad, I went to Howard University, very expensive school. And so my scholarship did allow me to go there. That was always my dream school. My senior year, I was applying to different schools, and I was like, I'm only applying to Howard. Like, that's the only place I would like to go. My mom looked at me like I was crazy. Girl, you're applying to more than just one school. So I applied to Howard, and once the scholarship rolled in, I realized that's where I needed to be. Finished there with a degree in biology, and now I'm at Kennesaw State University getting my master's in science, integrative biology to be exact. Funny way of saying research. And so this track was actually not what I intended. I always dreamed, or even now still aspire to be a genetic counselor. That field of genetic counseling is very competitive. The programs accept between 4 to 6 students, no black people whatsoever. It is so plain to just middle-aged white women. But genetic counseling is a field that is growing, and people are realizing that a lot of diseases and disorders are based on our genetic makeup. And so God put this in my heart to tell me, Brianna, this is where I want you to be. I need you to make sure you're here and you're setting yourself apart from our people. So at Howard, I had the opportunity to intern in the Breast Cancer Center, where I worked with patients who had the BRCA mutation, caring for breast cancer. So I'm talking to our women, and they're very receptive to this knowledge. So when I applied to the genetic counseling programs, I was denied. I applied to 4 different schools, denied. I took the GRE, that's the test you have to take to get into graduate school. My GPA was well enough. My scores, they were there. But a lot of schools told me, Brianna, you don't have enough research background. And I didn't. Research is not my thing. I feel like it didn't match my personality. So then I applied to 15 prep courses. And so those courses or that program allows you to, it's a middle gap between going into graduate school. So if you're trying to do medical school, that middle gap they have for you is called a post-bac program. I applied to 15 prep programs, got denied to every single one. So at that moment I was confused, well God, what is it that you want me to do? I knew I had this scholarship and I knew I had this money. And with my scholarship, although it does cover my education through my doctoral degree, they give you exactly 1 year to be without education, where you can have a break or you don't receive funding. But immediately after that year or so, if you're not in school, that money is gone. So I had that stress in the back of my head as well, and I'm trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do? I'm not going home with this degree. So being denied into one of the prep programs, I applied to UGA, and they were not able to accept me, but then they sent my information to Kennesaw. And Kennesaw had this new master's program, and they just received a grant from the NIH, and it was for African American students. So in that grant, they were able to put me on. But although I was under this grant, they realized I had this money, and so I was talking to the dean during my interview, and he's like, so you're fully funded and no one wants to accept it? I said, that's what I'm trying to figure out. So I did get into the program, but the Gates Millennium Scholarship, it has this high reward on it. It speaks volumes to those who may not understand what you're trying to do. But not only did that scholarship speak volumes, but also my degree from Howard spoke volumes as well. And just as Ashley stated, being at an HBCU gives you that confidence to realize when I go into the next phase of life, I know exactly who I am, and no matter where I am, in STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, we will be the minority. So you have to stand up and know exactly what you're doing and never waver from that journey that God has blessed you with. So I'm very blessed for all these opportunities. It's going to take me a while to get to genetic counseling, but I realize that these experiences along the way will allow me to be the best genetic counselor I can be.
at Spelman College, we have the Gates Millennium Scholars Program or the club, and so you're surrounded by other scholars, and actually there are a lot of scholars within the Atlanta University Center, and so they all motivate you and push you to stay on track and to know your goal and know that we didn't just receive the scholarship for nothing. We have a purpose and we need to use it. And so it's very rewarding to be on campus with those individuals. And Gates, well, I aspire to be a dentist, so Gates won't fund me to go to dental school, but I will use it all the way up until undergraduate and whatever path God leads me on. I use it for master's, graduate school, but in hopes of dental school. So yes, the Gates Scholarship is a blessing, and when I talk to my other peers and I understand their financial burdens, I'm just very blessed that I don't have to experience that and I can be debt-free through undergraduate school or whatever path I take.